everybody, I'm Melinda Gallant. I want to welcome you to another Cape Conversations. Oh, we got a good one. It's all about human rights and about our new appointee to the Human Rights Advisory Commission here in Barnstable County. His name is Lou Cerrone. He's a great guy. So come along. Let's have another Cape Conversations. Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Gallant, and I want to welcome you to this Cape Conversations with Lou Cerrone. Hi, Lou.
Hi, Melinda. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, and I'm so excited because we're going to chat. You're a Sandwich resident.
Right.
And you're an attorney at law or large.
Yes, at large.
At large. That's wonderful. And you are part of the Barnstable County Human Rights Advisory Board.
Advisory Commission, but very
Advisory
close.
Commission. You know what?
That's
I
a
almost
mouthful.
got it. It's a mouthful for
Yeah.
sure. So how long have you been a part of the Advisory Commission?
I was appointed by the Sandwich Selectmen about 3 or 4 months ago, approximately.
And did you replace somebody, or is this the first time we've had somebody?
No, as a matter of fact, they started a new position with the Advisory Commission, and it was liaison. Every town has a right to have a liaison
Wonderful.
on the Advisory Commission. So.
And what do you do?
Okay, well, first of all, what the Advisory Commission is we promote and protect human rights in the county of Barnstable, in the town of Sandwich, and basically we listen to people who believe they have human rights issues, and we used to be the Cape Cod, Barnstable County Human Rights Commission. Now we are Advisory Commission, so that we're not allowed to do the negotiation and mediation that we used to be able to do.
I see. And why is that?
In 2019, the county commissioners changed that with some new ordinances, and I think that, number one, there might have been some legalities about doing that sort of thing, and also boundaries between county organizations and boards, et cetera, et cetera.
I see.
Yeah.
So, okay, give me an example of that somebody would come to you about, some kind of an issue that they have. Would it be housing, or would it be discrimination, or what? Okay.
Basically, the areas in which we look into discrimination are housing, our education, our health care, age, disability, veteran status. And as far as an example is, you have a senior citizen. Senior citizen decides or has to go back to work or wants to go back to work.
Well, and many seniors are, because of the rising costs of everything.
Right.
They have to.
Yeah, exactly. And so they would apply for a job, and maybe the people don't want them only because they're senior citizens.
Right.
That happens. Seniors are discriminated, in that regard, and in many other regards as well. So what they would do is they would get in touch if they were from Sandwich. With me, I'm going to leave my contact information.
Wonderful.
On the screen, and tell me what their issue is. Tell me how they feel they've been discriminated against, or how they are not afforded equal opportunity to the services that the town or the government in any sort may have.
Okay. Does this apply to the private sector?
It somewhat applies to the private sector too. For instance, if you have people with disability, okay, and you are getting a job, okay, your employer has to make a reasonable accommodation, even in the private sectors, for your disability, to enable you to do your job with some sort of adjustments.
I see. So, so you're the only representative from Sandwich, right? So is your phone ringing off the hook?
No. What happened is I knew about the Barnstable County Human Rights Commission. Okay, I had a friend that was on it years ago.
Yeah.
But talking with people in Sandwich and with other towns, very, very few people know about it. They don't know who we are, what we do, if they know about us at all. And part of why I want to be on your show today is to let people know that if they feel they've been unlawfully discriminated against, if they feel that they have not been given an opportunity equal to other groups of people only because of the class they're in, like age or disability,
Right.
that they have a place to go, you know? And I have not heard from the Advisory Commission of any cases from Sandwich in recent history, and I think that's because people just don't know about us and that we're here. So I want to let people know, educate people about what the commission does
Sure.
and what I do.
Sure. So I have to laugh. I'll tell you a quick story. I retired from the shopping center industry after 30 years. I mean, that's a long time running shopping centers, right? And my background is very varied, and I'm very fortunate. I've been successful at what I've done, not necessarily so much monetarily as just, going forth and prospering and making things come to light. So I applied for a job, and I wasn't told I was too old, but they didn't want it to be my last job.
Huh.
And that was my age.
Yeah.
Right? Which was funny because I could have done the job with standing on my head. It wasn't a difficult job.
Right.
And it was interacting with people and such. But I just thought that was so funny. And I thought to myself, well, that doesn't seem quite fair. What does it matter if it's my last job or my first job? Doesn't matter.
So if you were not given the opportunity to continue in your job, you had all the qualifications, and the only thing was your age.
Mm-hmm.
Age is what we call a protected category of people,
I
among many
see.
others. So if you, as an employer, discriminate a person only because of age, then that is potentially just illegal discrimination and a human rights violation.
I see. So I'm going to say to those people out there, you better be careful.
I'm getting a lawyer.
I'm going to get the lawyer at large. So now tell me exactly, how does all this work? So walk me through it, what you do, then how do you take it to the commission? And also, I'd love to know what their mission, what is the mission of this
I'm
group?
going to have to read the mission for
That
you.
would be
'cause
fine,
it's-
that's okay.
Okay.
I don't think I could remember it.
Okay. The mission of the Barnstable County Human Rights Advisory Commission is to promote equal opportunity for all persons of Barnstable County, regardless of race, color, religious creed, national origin, gender, age, ancestry, sexual or affectional preference, marital, family, or military status, source of income, neighborhood, or disability, where unlawful discrimination exists in housing, employment, education, public accommodations, town or country services, or county services, banking, credit, and healthcare.
I see. So that covers the gambit.
It pretty much does, and it doesn't mean that those lists cannot be added to either.
Right. And the county commissioners would do that, should they care to do so. Is that correct, or is that the feds?
Well, we report to the county commissioners,
Uh-huh.
and they oversee us, so things that we do, changes that we made, have to go through them. So if we came to them and we said, we think this particular class of people who is not right now not recognized
I see.
as one of the protected classes needs to be.
I see. Okay, so I've got a problem. I pick up my phone. How do I find you?
Okay, at the end of the show, a graphic is going to go up on the board
Right, and
with
they'll
my
have your-
name and my contact information.
Okay.
And have people call me.
Can we find you through the Center for Active Living and through our senior center, or no?
No.
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 Okay. Can we find you through the town hall?
No,
No.
I've not done any of that yet. When I first came aboard the commission, the highest place in the commission or the advisory commission is the coordinator. That coordinator, unfortunately, just after I was, given the position or appointed to the position, died.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and it's a small organization, so there was a lot of uproar and upheaval. And everyone else had to come together, and it took a couple of months to find another person, get the ball rolling. So basically now I am really officially starting, in what I'm going to do.
Oh, excellent. So I would call you and tell you my story, meet with you.
You would call me, you would tell me what is going on. We have an intake committee. I would refer you to them.
I see.
They would listen to what you have to say, determine if in fact they think there's a human rights violation, or if you're being discriminated against in any fashion, And because we can't advocate or mediate anymore, what we do is we refer people to local, state, federal governmental agencies that can help them out. Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination, Attorney General's Civil Rights Office. There are other offices for employment and for housing as well.
I see. So so what you're trying to do is get the word out so people know that you are available to help them find their way into the process of having their grievance heard.
Right.
All right. And what else do you do in Sandwich? You are a busy man, I hear.
I used to be.
Yeah. Are you retiring from everything now?
I am retired except for this.
Oh, good.
Okay, so basically, let me see what my little thing here.
Sure.
So I function as an informal conduit between the Sandwich community and the Advisory Commission.
I see.
Okay, and I assist in community-based relationships with boards, commissions, and individuals in town.
So what boards would you?
Okay, I went through the town website. Say, what are the town's committees, boards, and organizations that might be
Sure.
a good fit for me
Yeah.
to have a relationship with and for
Yeah.
them to have a relationship with me, and the Commission on Disability, for sure. And Barnstable County has a higher percentage of disabled people than any other county
Really?
in Massachusetts.
We also have a higher percentage of older people too, right?
Let me tell you about that. This is incredible. Let me find this. Okay. Let me find it. Yeah.
That's all right.
Age. Barnstable County has the oldest population by far any county in Massachusetts. We have 54% of people over the age of 60. The rest of the rest of the state has 38%.
Wow.
Right. And in 2030, it is projected that 48% of the population in Barnstable County is going to be over the age of 60.
Wow.
We have many more people from the 75 to 85 age range and from 85 over. So age is a very, very important issue, on the Cape. And what are we going to do when half of us are senior citizens?
Well, we better do something about housing so that we can have younger people come here and live.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To help us out,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I used to be involved in affordable housing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And in Sandwich, to digress a minute,
Sure.
one of the big problems was that Sandwich is almost built out. There's very little buildable land left in order to develop, except maybe town-owned land.
Well, what they did though in the 80s, I think it was the 80s, they did all those big lot things. You had to have 5 acres.
Right.
Because they wanted to make sure we didn't get overbuilt before the commission. And then
Right.
of course the commission came in and kind of, helped with that a lot. But now they're going to have to put multiple housing on lots. We're going to have to go up, and not out, but up.
Right. And see, if it's affordable housing, then you get into another thing, because you get into people that are poorer, maybe have lower income, they couldn't be on some sort of public assistance. Those are groups of people, if they applied to be in that housing and were denied for any of the reasons
That
that
would
I
be
just said, their income, their status, their employment,
Right.
etc.
Right. There's a place down in Maryland that I got to visit because I had worked for Buff Chase in the Mashpee Commons.
Right.
And he was building a town and has done a lot of things in Europe and building small communities and what have you. And of course in Mashpee, he built Mashpee Commons, which is considered really the downtown. I
Right.
mean, the commercial center. And one of the things, though, he sent me down there to look at the retailing end of this area, and I wish I could remember the name of it, and I can't. I'm trying to get it and bring it back in my head, but I can't. It was a planned community, I suppose you would say. However, what they found was, at first people moving in there were a little fussy about who was going to be their neighbor, and are they going to be of the same socioeconomic status as I am, and all of that. And they ended up finding out, which is a giant kind of experiment, that a person that perhaps hasn't had the opportunity, hasn't had the education, if they have a job and they can afford to pay their bills, you can put them in housing that is subsidized next to somebody without subsidized housing, and they keep it up as well as the person in the non-subsidized housing. Always the thought was, oh, it'll become a tenement, it'll be run down, they don't know how to keep things up. And what they found was that's not true. If you mix the population, then everybody has a reason to keep things nice.
Right.
For lack of any other way of putting it.
Now I'm trying to think of the name of the low-income housing, the affordable housing. Is it Turtle something? My God, I used to know that off the top of my head.
In Florida?
No.
Oh, here?
And Sandwich off of Quaker Meeting House.
Oh, they have it there. Yeah, there's affordable housing
I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
I'm very
there's
sorry. But that was
housing up
affordable housing. And what it was all lower income people.
Right.
Okay? And many unemployed people, many people on public assistance. And that, I think, is not a good mix, like you said.
Yeah.
So I have a friend who lived there who moved into a place in Plymouth, and it's exactly what you say. They're affordable units which are intermixed
Right.
with regular market rate.
Right.
And they get along with well, and they help one another out. And I think it's important just to integrate.
Right.
Don't have all these divisions in society, but put people together regardless of their race, regardless of their income, regardless of their religious creed, etc.
Sure. Well, and it works. I mean, that's the crazy thing. It does work. Sandwich is a unique community because we pay for having a beautiful village. We pay high taxes, the highest on the Cape.
Mm-hmm.
But we pay for that. We could have, 2- and 3-story commercial buildings all over the place, and we don't, And I don't know that that's a bad thing. You just have to accept it, I guess. But I know that there have been some very, what I feel inappropriate things said about housing out on 130 that they want to bring in, which is going to be mixed.
Mixed use.
Yeah. Mixed use. But also, have some subsidized housing along with regular housing. And they're, everybody's up in arms and worried that it'll become a tenement or whatever. But it doesn't, to me, we need the housing so desperately that, I'm a certain age and I worry about when I get, 10, 15 years from now, I hope there's somebody around to take care of me when, besides my kids, who might push me down the stairs. I don't know.
No, but I mean, that is a good issue that there's NIMBY not in my backyard.
Yeah.
I think this is a great idea. I think affordable housing is great, just not here.
Yeah, I always love that. Yeah.
And that is a division of people according to status, for one thing, according to income, et cetera. And if we have 60% of the Barnstable County population in 2030 that are older than 60 years old, where are the people that provide services and work?
Right.
And lower income people. And what's happening now are people who can't afford to live here, who do those jobs. They live in New Bedford, they live in Fall River, and they commute. But if they have to commute further down the Cape, it's not going to be economically feasible for them to spend all that money on gas. So we're going to be in a quandary there.
Right. So Human Rights Commission could come into housing as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. If there is discrimination in housing, having to do with age, having to do with disability, race or color, source of income, amount of income, even citizenship and immigration status. There are all potentials for discrimination, and there are governmental groups that deal with that because there's been enough of it.
Sure.
That state agencies have had to be, built.
Sure. Well, I want you to know this has gone by very quickly.
Are we all done?
We're all done. Isn't it lucky for you?
Yeah, no, I had a lot more things I wanted to say. Maybe I'll come.
You can come back.
I shall come back, yeah.
You shall. And we'll make sure we get your number up. And if anybody is having any issues, or if they have questions, right?
Yeah.
They could call you and ask you, tell me about this. Is this right? Is this wrong? Whatever. And you could refer them to the right people.
I invite and encourage people in Sandwich who think their human rights have been violated, that they've been discriminated against, to contact me.
Okay.
And, spread the word in town.
Sure.
That I'm here and this is what I do. I'll be interacting more and more with town government and town agencies and boards as the year progresses.
Sure. Well, you probably should get in contact with the Sandwich Chamber of Commerce because, employers need to know about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And make sure that they have the right information. So, excellent. Well, thank you, Lou.
Thank you, Melinda.
You
nice
were
to
great.
see you. Thank
Good
you.
to see
too.
you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Wow, Lou Cerrone, he has his hands full. But if you're having an issue, you need to get a hold of him, call him, and let him know what your issue is. And if you're being discriminated against or you think you are, you should definitely get a hold of him. He is our representative from Sandwich to the Barnstable County Human Rights Advisory Commission. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time on another Cape Conversations.